Hello everybody, my name is Jennifer Maker and it's a beautiful day to show you how to make an Infusible Ink mug and compare mug presses and wraps on the Great Maker Show and Tell. In my last video, I told you all about the Cricut Mug Press and we made a really pretty mug on it. If you haven't yet seen that video, be sure to check it out. But I know that one of the very first questions I had, and I'm sure you will have it as well, is how does the Cricut Mug Press compare to a traditional mug press and other methods of sublimating ink? Sublimating simply means to transfer ink from an object in a gaseous state with high heat. This is what happens when we use Cricut Infusible Ink, which is a form of sublimation ink. So today I want to compare 4 different Infusible Ink mug transfer methods and see how they stack up. I have 4 heating methods here for us to try. The Cricut Mug Press, a traditional clamshell mug press, a silicone wrap, which is right here, and a heat gun over there. This is my version of a playtest. Now, I am a mug press newbie, but I was also a Cricut Mug Press newbie, so this is a fair comparison. I figure most of you are new to this as well, if you're watching this video, of course, so it's helpful for you to know what an out-of-the-box experience is like for an experienced crafter like me. So our first contender in our mug press throwdown is the Cricut Mug Press. This is a user-friendly mug press that automatically detects and sets the right temperature and pressure settings for you with a one-touch operation. There's one button at the top. The Cricut Mug Press features a safety-conscious design with a plastic housing that does not get hot, plus an auto-off safety feature. It presses mugs from 11 to 16 ounces with a special heat plate that heats from the sides and the base for a consistent transfer, even at the bottom edge of the mug. It's beautiful, don't you think? So the Cricut Mug Press is $1.99, but as it's not out at the time I'm recording this video, Cricut gifted this one to me so I could test it out in advance for you. Next up is the traditional clamshell mug press. I did my research and found a 4.5-star mug press on Amazon. This one right here. There are several presses over on Amazon, and I will link to this one in the video's description so you can look at it and see all the specs and everything about it. Now, this mug press features a 3-inch to 3.5-inch diameter heating element for an 11-ounce mug, and it claims to be easy to operate with adjustable pressure, automatic baking time, and automatic temperature. This mug press cost me just under $100. Next, we're going to try a simple silicone wrap that you can clamp around a mug and put into an oven. Now, you should not put this into a household oven because we do not want to mix fumes and food. That also means we need to have a dedicated countertop convection oven that reaches at least 400 degrees Fahrenheit, just like I have here. The cost of the silicone wrap plus an inexpensive convection oven is about $100 to $125. You can get better convection ovens for quite a bit more, but we're going to stick with the least expensive option for now. And finally, we are going to try a heat gun, which some of my fellow crafters have successfully used to transfer Infusible ink. So we will try it too. You can get heat guns in varying sizes. The one that I have goes up to 1300 degrees Fahrenheit, so it gets plenty hot for what we need. This heat gun was about $60. But we all know that finding the best tool is not all about price. A bad tool that's cheap will cost us much more in ruined materials and frustration than the right tool for the job that costs more. So I don't typically go for the cheapest tool, and I like to weigh all of my options. And we can't judge this by looks alone. I mean, yes, the Cricut Mug Press is super cute and small, but we don't buy tools based on how cute they are, right? Right? Okay, so to have a fair test, I'm going to use the same design on all of these cute hand-lettered coffee sayings that you can get free on my blog. I have a whole set of them for you to use. And for each mug test, I'm going to use Infusible Ink transfer sheets from the same package of solid cherry red Infusible Ink. I cut and apply them all onto the mugs in exactly the same way so that it's totally fair. Now, just a reminder, whenever we use sublimation ink, just like we're about to do, you should work in a well-ventilated area, like near an open window or with a fan going, and be sure to use heat-resistant surfaces so you don't burn anything. Okay, are you ready to test out these with me? Let me show you first where to find my really cute decal designs that we're going to use for our test, and then let's test each method and see what happens. Step 1, cut out your mug design. For this comparison test, I created some pretty hand-lettered designs, and you can download them from my blog at jennifermaker.com/289. Just go to the red bar at the top and look for libraries, and then either click Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. You can find the designs by searching the page for Design 289, and then click it to download SVG cut files for cutting with a cutting machine. Now you can quickly cut the designs using Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to upload an SVG cut file to Cricut Design Space, please watch my SVGs Made Simple training series at jennifermaker.com/SVGs. You can see many of the cute designs that I've made here. For this test, I combined 2 different decals and sliced one design out of a solid background. This will allow us to see how well a transfer works with both a lot of ink and just a little ink. To do this, just create a rectangle the size of your background on your mug, position the decal over it, select both layers, and click Slice. Now delete the layers that you don't want and attach everything together. Now just cut out your Infusible Ink transfer sheets, and remember to mirror it. All Infusible Ink designs should be mirrored. If you're not sure how to cut Infusible Ink, check out my Infusible Ink mug tutorial that I've linked below this video. Now I cut out 4 identical wrap designs from Cherry Red Infusible Ink for each of our 4 mug tests, and weeded each one so it was ready to go on each mug, just like this. Step 2, apply the design to the mug. All of our test mugs are Sublimation blank mugs with a special poly coating, and I'm using the same brand for all mugs. To apply the design, put the mug handle facing you, and then just wrap the design around the mug tightly, just like this. Make sure the design is well adhered to the mug, and if not, use some heat-resistant tape to keep it in place. We're now ready for our transfer tests. Step 3, transfer the Infusible Ink. Let's begin with the Cricut Mug Press. Cricut tells us to set the mug press on a heat-resistant surface and in a well-ventilated area, like in front of a window. Then plug in the Cricut Mug Press and power it on with the power button on top. Once it's warmed up, a few minutes later, put the mug into the mug press and press down on the handle. There are no settings to worry about because the Cricut Mug Press determines the right temperature and pressure for us based on our mug's temperature and the ambient room temperature. Little LED lights on the top will show us the progress of the press. 5 to 6 minutes later, the Cricut Mug Press beeps, and we can remove the mug by the handle, which is still cool. Allow the mug to cool for 15 to 30 minutes. During this time, the Cricut Mug Press will beep to indicate it's going to auto shut off for safety. Either allow it to turn itself off or press the button again to keep it turned on so you can press another mug. All right, let's try this mug press. The manual that came with the press, which is this piece of paper here, says that we must plug in the machine and, I quote, when the machine is heating up, the temperature arrive at the setting temperature should put mug immediately. If the mug pad keeps higher temperature for a long time without the mug pad is easy to broken. So I interpret this to mean that if we turn the press on, heat it up, we need to press our mug right away to avoid overheating the element and damaging our press. Okay, so the manual says to open the handle and put the mug in, then use this dial here to adjust the pressure. We're supposed to use moderate pressure. I'm not sure what that means, so I am guessing at what seems to be midpoint, but not too much, I guess. All right, so now we take out the mug from the heating element altogether, then turn on the power. Then we press this button. The digital display will read P1 and show 360, which is the temperature. And we can press up and down, the up and down button, arrow buttons, to adjust the temperature. If we press the button again, the display shows P2 and shows 30, which is the duration of the press. And we can press the up and down arrows to adjust the time. The manual recommends that we use 360 degrees Fahrenheit for 60 seconds. So we need to adjust the temperature to 60 seconds. When the mug press is hot enough, a buzzer sounds. So you put in the mug and you pull the handle down. And then press enter to begin counting down. It's not automatic as soon as you press down on that handle. When the machine beeps, take out the mug and allow it to cool for 15 to 30 minutes. During this time, the mug press will warm up again and beep when it's ready for another mug. There is no auto off feature, so do not forget to turn it off. Remember, safety first. Okay, now let's try the silicone wrap method. First, find or buy a countertop convection oven that gets to at least 400 degrees Fahrenheit. It needs to also fit a mug and have a fan. That's important. Do not use your home oven, please, 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 as food and fumes really do not mix. Please also use this oven in a well-ventilated place. All right, while the oven is heating up, place the silicone wrap around your mug until you can slide it closed. I found this part a little confusing. It took me a few tries to put it on right, so watch how I'm doing it here. Now place the silicone wrapped mug on a cookie sheet and put it in the convection oven for 15 minutes. When the time is up, put on oven mitts, because it's going to be really, really hot, and remove the cookie sheet from the oven. But please be careful not to breathe in the fumes from the oven when you open the oven door, like I did. That was a big mistake. All right, allow the mug to cool on a heat-resistant surface with the silicone wrap on for at least 30 minutes. It will take an oven-baked mug longer to cool down than the other two mugs that we've tested so far, so just keep that in mind. When the mug is cooled to the touch, unlatch the silicone wrap. And finally, the heat gun. Get a heat-resistant surface. I am using a Cricut Easy Press mat here, an oven mitt, and a heat gun. Turn on the heat gun to high and pass it over your mug design evenly on each side of the mug for 7 to 10 minutes each, so for each side. You will see the ink begin to spread out a bit from the edges of the design when it sublimates into the surface of the mug. Now, this may take some time depending on how much ink you're transferring. I was at this for 20 to 30 minutes. So when you're done, allow the mug to cool for 15 to 30 minutes and turn off the heat gun and allow the heat gun to cool before putting it away because it's going to stay hot for a while, so be very careful. Step 4, unwrap your mug. So the Cricut Mug Press did a bang-up job of transferring the Infusible ink to our mug. It is easy to use and gets gorgeous results. This has been true of every mug that I made with the Cricut Mug Press. The traditional clamshell mug press was a fail with inconsistent and unsaturated color. And while it could be that I have a defective heat press, I rather think it's just user error. Honestly, following the manual, I set the press time for 360 degrees for 60 seconds with moderate pressure. It seems like it really should have been longer. My guess is that I just needed to press it for longer or have a higher temperature. Honestly, I'm not sure, but it didn't fully sublimate onto the mug, as you can see. So after my fail, I Googled to see what settings other crafters had tried, and I had both my temperature too low and my press time too short. This is a major drawback of the traditional mug press, as you have to know the right settings for your material and your base material, right? I was also really surprised at how inconsistently it seemed to heat the mug, with almost no ink at the bottom. This type of mug press is missing the bottom heating element that's present on the Cricut Mug Press. All right, so the mug made with the silicone wrap and the oven method fared much better with vibrant and clear colors, just as good as the Cricut Mug Press. It was a little fiddly to get the silicone wrap around my mug, and I didn't really enjoy heating it in the oven. And even though I used a separate convection oven to make this to keep my kitchen's oven clean for cooking food, very important, I still got a whiff of the fumes when I opened the door. And honestly, I had a headache and watery eyes all evening. Plus, it produced a rather unpleasant odor in the house. So this method, while effective, had some serious safety concerns for me personally. If you use a silicone wrap, be sure to get it out of your main living area and into a space with good ventilation. And you should probably also wear a respirator to avoid the concentrated fumes that come out when you open the oven door. So this is a problem that we don't have with the other 3 methods that we're using because they don't heat in a concentrated area the way that it does in an oven like this. All right, and finally, the heat gun was an utter fail. I figured I could get it to work with more effort, maybe a different heat gun. I'm just not sure. But even so, it took forever to do, like 30 minutes. It was very inefficient. All right, so in the throwdown between these 4 Infusible Ink mug transfer methods, the clear winner for me is the Cricut Mug Press. It's easy, safe, and small. Plus, I suspect its convenience means that I'm going to use it a lot more often and therefore get more bang for my buck. If you've got more questions about making awesome Infusible Ink mugs, however you do it, please let me know. Leave your question below this video or ask over in our Cricut Crafters group at jennifermaker.com/CricutCrafters, where you can find lots of people who are using Infusible Ink and sublimating awesome stuff. Also, if you need a Cricut cutting machine to create your decals for your mugs, I give one away every month. You can enter for your chance to win your very own Cricut cutting machine at jennifermaker.com/Cricut giveaway. And that's it for today. I will be back tomorrow with another mug tutorial. Until tomorrow, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.